Picture this. You are walking down a perfectly ordinary, sun-baked street in a neighborhood in Paola, Malta. It's the year 1902. You are completely unaware that literally just inches beneath your feet lies a massive, prehistoric world, a labyrinth that has been hidden in total darkness for thousands of years. Welcome to This Explainer, where we are going to explore one of humanity's absolute greatest prehistoric achievements, the Hypogeum of Ħal-Saflieni.
For millennia, this subterranean masterpiece was entirely forgotten. It was completely untouched. So how exactly do you find an invisible underground monument? Well, by total accident. In 1902, construction workers were simply digging foundations for new houses when they suddenly broke right through the roof of a hidden chamber. At first, no one had any idea of the sheer scale of what they had stumbled upon. But as archaeologists began to explore deeper, the world was completely shocked by what they found.
Okay, let's dive into this timeline. The sheer age of this site is staggering. Construction began around 4000 BC by Malta's Neolithic inhabitants, and it continued until roughly 2500 BC. To put that into perspective for you, this intricate underground world is actually older than Stonehenge. It's older than the Great Pyramids of Egypt, and for thousands of years, it just sat silently, waiting for its 1902 rediscovery.
Section 1. Carving the Earth, 500 square meters without metal.
Think about the mind-boggling engineering required to hollow out this complex directly from the soft limestone bedrock. There were absolutely zero metal tools involved here. They carved this entire 500 square meter space by hand using primitive materials like stone, flint, chert, obsidian, and animal antlers. And this brilliantly illustrates the sheer ingenuity of these builders. Despite those incredibly basic tools, they achieved highly sophisticated architecture. We're talking perfectly shaped doorways, intricately curved ceilings, and just stunning decorative details.
The complex is laid out in 3 interconnected levels, almost like a metaphorical descent deep into the earth. Step 1 is the upper level. That's the oldest section, featuring these natural rock burial chambers. Step 2 takes us down to the middle level, where that astonishing megalithic-style architecture truly shines, imitating the famous above-ground temples of Malta. Finally, Step 3 plunges us to the lower level, reaching over 10 meters below the surface, filled with mysterious niches whose actual purpose remains a profound secret today. But let's slow down for a second as we enter the middle level's most famous and maybe most mysterious space.
Section 2. The Oracle Room, Whispers in the Dark.
The Oracle Room is renowned for this deeply eerie sensory experience. There is a small niche carved into one of the walls here, and it produces an extraordinary acoustic effect. If someone speaks into that niche with a deep voice, the sound doesn't just echo, it powerfully resonates throughout much of the entire monument. It's unforgettable. And this poses a really fascinating question. Did these Neolithic builders intentionally engineer these complex acoustics, or was it just a happy accident that they discovered and then incorporated into their rituals? Archaeologists still can't say for certain, but what was this vast, resonating underground complex actually used for in the first place?
Section 3. A City of the Dead, over 1,000 years of rituals. So, the crucial point is the staggering scale of death here. 7,000. That massive number represents the estimated human remains archaeologists actually found within this deep labyrinth. You see, the Hypogeum wasn't just a temple. Its primary function evolved into a vast underground cemetery. Imagine the scale of that. Generations upon generations of Malta's prehistoric people, all laid to rest in the same dark, echoing chambers over a span of more than a millennium.
And the way they were laid to rest is incredibly revealing. The burials were highly staged rituals. Evidence shows the bones were gathered together, placed within these chambers, and then intensely decorated. They were covered with red ochre. Just picture that striking visual for a moment. The bright, vivid red pigment against the pale limestone, down in the pitch black, illuminated only by flickering torchlight. Researchers believe this red pigment was deeply symbolic, very likely representing life or spiritual rebirth. Among those 7,000 souls, archaeologists uncovered the site's absolute greatest treasure, the Sleeping Lady. She is a small, remarkably crafted clay figurine depicting a prehistoric woman, entirely at peace, just lying on her side on a carefully carved bed. The artistic skill required to create this beautiful, delicate piece way back in the Neolithic era is truly undeniable.
But again, the Hypogeum leaves us with questions. What does the Sleeping Lady actually represent? Because she was found in a necropolis, does she represent eternal sleep or death?
Or, given the red ochre's ties to rebirth we just talked about, could she symbolize fertility and spiritual transformation? Her exact meaning remains a profound, unsolved mystery that continues to fascinate experts today.
Now, the art of the Hypogeum isn't just in clay. It's right there on the walls. This site contains Europe's only known surviving prehistoric underground wall paintings. We are talking about incredibly rare 5,000-year-old decorations. The earliest inhabitants adorned these chambers with intricate red ochre spirals, honeycomb designs, and geometric patterns, giving us a priceless, rare glimpse into their symbolic world. Okay, let's pick up the pace a bit and begin our ascent back to the modern day.
Section 4. Myths versus reality. Returning to the surface.
You know, when a civilization leaves absolutely no written records behind, human imagination tends to fill in the blanks. If you search for the Hypogeum online today, you will inevitably run into a very specific set of unfounded internet myths. Things like claims that the site is part of a vast network of hidden underground tunnels crossing the globe. Others claim it was built by an ancient race of giants or supernatural beings, or that the chambers possess mysterious, magical powers. But looking strictly at the archaeological record, there is zero evidence to support these fictional viewpoints.
And honestly, why would we need to invent myths when the reality is this incredible? As one expert noted, the true mystery is impressive enough. A sophisticated underground sanctuary built thousands of years ago by a civilization that left no written records. The archaeological reality of human ingenuity and dedication, literally hand-carving this complex with antlers and stones, is vastly more awe-inspiring than any fake internet myth about giants.
The global community certainly agrees on its immense real-world value. Bringing us fully into the present day, the Hypogeum was globally recognized and designated as one of Malta's very first UNESCO World Heritage Sites back in 1980. It is officially acknowledged as one of humanity's greatest prehistoric achievements.
But with that recognition comes an intense responsibility to protect it. Today, conservation efforts are incredibly strict. Remember those 5,000-year-old red ochre paintings we talked about earlier? Well, they are so utterly fragile that merely the changing humidity from human breath can cause them to deteriorate. Because of this, visitor numbers are severely limited and the environmental conditions are rigorously controlled just to ensure this 6,000-year-old masterpiece survives for the next generation.
Which leaves us with one final thought to ponder. The Hypogeum sat silently right beneath the feet of everyday people in Malta for thousands of years before it was found purely by accident. It really makes you wonder, what other profound secrets of humanity's past are still waiting in the dark, just waiting to be unearthed? Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer, and stay curious.